European leaders have welcomed the framework deal to end war reached between the United States and Iran. On X, the president of the European Council, Antonio Costa, said that he was looking forward to an end to this costly war. I commend the tireless diplomatic efforts of all those who made this deal possible, he added. The EU's top diplomat is on the same page.
There's the deal that has been announced now by US and Iran that is much welcomed by everybody. It is the first phase to open the Strait of Hormuz and then move on to the negotiations on the critical topics like the nuclear issue, but also other critical issues that are important for the stability and peace in the region.
On a lighter note, Mr. Speaker,
for the British Prime Minister, this is an encouraging announcement and an opportunity to be seized.
This is a hugely significant moment. We have long called for de-escalation, and it is vital that all parties seize this opportunity to secure stability in the region and restore freedom of navigation in the Strait of Hormuz.
In a joint statement, the UK, together with France, Germany and Italy, have pledged to play their part in ensuring the free and unrestricted flow of traffic along the Strait of Hormuz. British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, French President Emmanuel Macron, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz and Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni referred to a strictly defensive and independent mission aimed at reassuring commercial traffic and carrying out mine-clearing operations.
Preparing for modern warfare is the focus of the Eurosatory Defense and Security Show, taking place this week just northeast of Paris. At the previous edition in 2024, the idea of sending troops to Ukraine seemed unthinkable. Today, the likelihood of a clash in the east with Russia is increasingly high, according to General Philippe de Montenon.
Nous nous préparons à vivre un combat du type de celui que mènent très courageusement les Ukrainiens. Vous voyez que ce combat, il est... par rapport à ce qu'on a pu connaître dans toutes les dernières années, extrêmement consommateur de munitions, consommateur aussi de vies humaines. Il est dronisé, il est robotisé, il est numérisé.
The drone is both the main asset and the main challenge of combat in 2026. Every tank on display at Eurosatory is flanked by its own anti-drone system. In 2025, the French army had just 4,000 of them and is in the process of buying another 14,000. On the battlefields of Ukraine, the drone has become the symbol of modern warfare. The country is now an expert in their use. As a result, 80 Ukrainian companies are exhibiting at Eurosatory 2026, compared with 10 at the previous show.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has condemned what he called one of Russia's most serious crimes against Christian culture to date, following Moscow's assault which damaged the 11th century Dormition Cathedral within Kyiv, Lavra. The damage came during the large Russian missile and drone attack on Kyiv overnight into Monday that left at least 11 people dead, dozens injured, and several residential buildings destroyed. Russia has denied hitting the historical site. Visiting the scene with members of his government, Zelensky hailed the rescue efforts and noted the bells of the Lavra again rang out across Kyiv, symbolically, despite the damage the church had suffered. The Kyiv Pekex Lavra, also known as the Monastery of the Caves, is a sprawling complex of monasteries and churches, including some underground, built between the 11th and 19th centuries. Some of the churches at the UNESCO-listed World Heritage Site are connected to a labyrinthine complex of caves spanning more than 600 meters. The attack prompted swift condemnation across Europe, with the French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot describing it as equivalent, for us French, quote, of a bombing of the Notre Dame, referring to the iconic Paris Cathedral.
After years of complaints over dangerous riding, pavement clutter, and even links to organized crime, the Belgian capital has announced that rental e-scooters will disappear from its streets by the end of this year. Experts say that the design of e-scooters means that injuries are more severe, and riders who crash are more likely to suffer head and facial injuries. There are also concerns that incorrectly parked scooters can obstruct public rights of way and cause difficulties for people with reduced mobility or the elderly. The Brussels government also revealed that the scooters have been used by drug traffickers and organized crime groups, and that they were used in 25 shootings in 2025.
Cette région avait besoin d'ordre en la matière et donc c'est ce que nous faisons. Nous mettons de l'ordre, notamment au niveau de l'espace public, mais aussi par rapport aux très nombreux accidents que l'on constatait de manière exponentielle. Mais il est un fait, c'est qu'en plus de tout le reste, au niveau de la criminalité, eh bien, l'avis du procureur du roi est très clair. Le fait de supprimer les trottinettes partagées eh bien, est aussi un plus dans la lutte par rapport aux actes de fusillade que l'on connaît à Bruxelles.
While the city is moving away from e-scooters, it will strengthen its bike-sharing network and plans to expand the availability of e-bikes on the streets. Brussels is far from the first city in Europe to outlaw shared e-scooters. Madrid, Paris, and Prague have already removed them from use.
Monday and early Tuesday's World Cup fixtures brought an interesting mix of satisfaction and upset as fans anxiously watched matches, though on paper perceived to be easy, in fact were more tightly contested than anticipated. Spain opened their World Cup campaign with a match against Cape Verde, who were making their first ever appearance at the tournament. Many fans around the world expected the scoreline to reflect a result similar to a day earlier when Germany took on first-timers Curaçao in a match that ended 7-1 in favor of the European powerhouse. But La Roja, missing young superstar Lamine Yamal to injury, was unable to convert their chances, drawing a game that was meant to earn them an easy 3 points, 0-0, a result Cape Verde fans around the world joyfully celebrated. Belgium fans also watched anxiously as the Red Devils drew 1-1 to Egypt in their first fixture of the tournament. The team, which steamrolled past Tunisia last week 5-0 in an international friendly, was unable to make much happen against the Pharaohs, who led the game for more than an hour after a stunning strike by forward Imam Ashur in the 20th minute. An own goal shortly after the 1 hour mark proved to be a moment of relief for the Belgian team, who walk away with 1 point in Group G. Saudi Arabia also took on Uruguay in their first match of the tournament, which ended in a 1-1 draw. Meanwhile, Iran kickstarted their politically charged campaign, facing off against New Zealand where they had to come back twice to level the score, settling for 2 goals apiece.
Professional fishermen in Crete are in despair as pufferfish, an invasive species that entered the Mediterranean through the Suez Canal, continue to devastate marine biodiversity. The pufferfish problem affects many Mediterranean countries, particularly Cyprus and Greece, where this poisonous and highly opportunistic predator has become dominant in recent years. In addition to containing a powerful toxin that makes them deadly if consumed, these fish have exceptionally strong jaws capable of biting through wood and metal.
Έφαγε το ψάρι, έκοψε το σκηνή. Κοίτα ζημιές. Άχρηστα τα εργαλεία. Δηλαδή αυτά σε 5 μέρες θα τα βγάλω έξω, πρέπει να πάρω άλλα.
Είναι ένα ψάρι πολύ δύσκολο. Πανφάγο, τρώει ό,τι βρει. Δεν τον ενοχλάει κανένας.
Έχει γεμίσει τα άλλα σαν λιοντόψαρα και λαγόψαρα και ντρομπέτες. Όλο ξενικά είδη. Και δεν έφτιαξε ένα καλό ψάρι, όλο κακά.
Greek fishermen are calling on the government to immediately implement a subsidy program for the removal of these fish, allowing fishermen to catch them and reduce their population, while limiting the enormous damage pufferfish are causing to their livelihoods.
Έχουμε κάνει μελέτες και έχουμε δει ότι έχει μεγάλη επίπτωση στους αλληλείς της παράκτιας αλληλείας. Έχουμε εκτιμήσει αυτή τη ζημιά γύρω στις 8.500 ευρώ ετησίως για κάθε σκάφος.
Pufferfish were first recorded in Greece in 2005 in Crete and the Dodecanese Islands. 20 years later, they are now found throughout the country, with scientists warning that consuming them can be fatal.
Η τετροδοτοξίνη είναι πάρα πολύ επικίνδυνη τοξίνη εφόσον καταποθεί. Προκαλεί καρδιακή ανεπάρκεια, σταματάνε να λειτουργούν οι πνεύμονες. Γενικά θέλει πάρα πολύ μεγάλη προσοχή.
Research is also underway to find ways to neutralize the fish's toxins so that it may eventually become commercially viable or at least useful for other purposes.
Έχουμε προχωρήσει σε έρευνα για να βρούμε τρόπους έτσι ώστε να απομακρύνουμε την τετραδοτοξίνη από τον λαγοκέφαλο και να μπορέσουμε έτσι την καθαρή βιομάζα να την εκμεταλλευτούμε σε κάποιες ήπιες εφαρμογές, π.χ. για λιπάσματα, κομπόστ και τέτοια πράγματα.
Stalactites, the sound of water dripping on rock. In the heart of Paris, the public can now wander through a cave without having to go underground. Just a stone's throw from Notre Dame, artist JR, a specialist in XXL photo collage, has transformed the Pont Neuf into a cave. A soundscape created by a former member of Daft Punk. A gigantic structure with varying heights, nothing has been left to chance to transport passerby far from Paris.
Vraiment une immersion absolue entre le bruit, la lumière qui est tamisée et cette sensation à la fois d'enfermement mais finalement quand même une certaine liberté.
On a vraiment l'impression d'être dans une grotte, il y a des petits bruits de vent, c'est assez sombre, le relief est très bien fait, on a l'impression de pouvoir voir et même toucher des stalactites.
It was very interesting to go through it and also remembering, oh, okay, I'm walking on a bridge.
In 1985, the Pont Neuf had already been wrapped in fabric. The work by the artist couple Christo and Jeanne-Claude, now deceased, had attracted millions of visitors. The opening of La Caverne was delayed by 10 days. Rain and wind had damaged the massive inflatable structure. The public can now visit the artwork until June the 28th, this time under sunny skies according to the forecast.